A man who has reached the end of his rope seizes an opportunity and lends a hand to Elon Musk. What comes next is an unexpected turn that will leave everyone astounded. Nathan was once a person of significance, a figure with oil-smeared hands, a keen intellect, and a standing for mending what others considered unfixable. Once an engineer at a prominent car manufacturer in Detroit, he dedicated years to perfecting engines, crafting efficient drivetrains, and guaranteeing that every vehicle he worked on operated with unparalleled smoothness. His universe centered on accuracy, finding solutions, and the serene fulfillment of understanding the significance of his efforts. Yet here he was, merely a lost figure in a metropolis that had long since turned its back. Resting beneath an overpass close to a Tesla supercharger in Sacramento, California, Nathan had come to understand how swiftly life could take everything from him. The beginning was marked by the layoffs. The organization streamlined its operations, reduced expenses, and in an instant, mere experience proved insufficient for job security. Initially, he believed he would recover swiftly. A man with his talents would surely discover another path. Yet the weeks stretched into months. Then his savings began to diminish. Mounting bills brought an increasing weight of pressure. His wife, weary from the burden of financial stress, departed. Before long, the bank seized the property. His pride prevented him from seeking assistance. And when his car finally gave out, the final fragment of his former existence crumbled away. In that moment, his universe condensed to a narrow expanse of pavement beside the charging station, where he observed individuals connecting their Teslas, savoring their extravagant lattes, and failing to acknowledge his presence even once. As darkness fell, he cocooned himself in a worn army surplus blanket, a thoughtful gift from a compassionate stranger who had shown him kindness weeks earlier. He couldn't determine what pained him more, the biting cold or the indifference of those around him, the way they seemed to overlook his very existence as if he were invisible. As dusk settled, Nathan found himself perched on the curb, savoring the final remnants of a day-old, stale sandwich he had tucked away. The station buzzed with activity, a parade of luxury vehicles and restless drivers tapping away on their phones as they passed the time. He listened as they discussed stocks, business deals, vacations, conversations from a realm that had slipped away from him. Suddenly, another noise pierced the stillness of the night. A car sputtering, struggling to ignite. He identified the sound right away. A luxury vehicle, likely a Tesla Roadster, its systems attempting to restart. A modest gathering encircled it, whispering softly. The owner paced back and forth, phone in hand, clearly exuding frustration. Nathan let out a breath, his head shaking slightly. He had the ability to repair it. He discerned the issue with remarkable clarity simply by paying attention. But who would pay attention to him? He averted his gaze, wrapping the blanket around himself more securely. Assistance had led him to dead ends in the past. Yet, amidst the whispers, he caught the owner's frustrated words. "Damn it, I have somewhere to be." This was not meant to occur. The voice held a certain familiarity, a unique element. Nathan lifted his gaze. The glow of a nearby streetlight partially obscured the man's face. As he moved, his outline sharpened into focus. It was none other than Elon Musk. Yet, who would ever think that a man without a home could assist the richest individual on the planet? Nathan's fingers danced with anticipation. He understood the issue with that car. The issue wasn't with the battery. It definitely wasn't just a random glitch. The engine startup sequence had halted mid-cycle, a scenario he had encountered previously in high-performance electric vehicles featuring intricate firmware. If the system wasn't adequately reset, it would be completely non-functional. But who would pay attention to a man in a worn hoodie with days of stubble on his face? He adjusted his stance on the curb, contemplating. Perhaps it would be wiser to simply release it. Let the affluent individual summon their tow truck and wait just like everyone else. Then he caught Musk muttering a curse softly to himself. What on earth is causing this delay? Nathan tightened his jaw. He desired nothing. No assistance, no focus. Yet turning his back on a challenge he had the ability to overcome, that wasn't the person. Before he could rationalize his way out of it, Nathan gathered his resolve and made his way across the lot. The handful of spectators hardly paid attention as he made his way toward the immobilized vehicle. "It's not the battery," Nathan stated, his tone steady yet resolute. Attention was captured. A few individuals glanced at him, their gazes shifting from his battered sneakers to his disheveled beard. Musk, still engaged in conversation, initially overlooked him. Nathan advanced a step nearer. "It's the energy regulation framework. The vehicle failed to complete its startup process. A complete restart is necessary." Musk finally raised his gaze. His gaze flicked over Nathan, evaluating, measuring. "And how do you know this?" Nathan folded his arms across his chest. "Once worked as an engineer. Engaged with high-voltage drive systems for more than 15 years. A moment of stillness. The audience remained fixated, anticipating Musk's gesture to dismiss him. Instead, he arched an eyebrow. "Do you really believe you can resolve this?" Nathan gave a nonchalant shrug. "I am confident in my abilities." Musk fixed his gaze on him for a moment longer before extending the keycard. "Very well, present it to me." As soon as the card made contact with his palm, Nathan's instincts surged to life. He swung the door open, settled into the driver's seat, and gently pressed the brakes. The touchscreen flickered, the software struggling to regain stability, yet it remained ensnared in an endless loop. He headed off to his job. Initially, he compelled a manual shutdown, circumventing the onboard diagnostics that had stalled in the midst of the sequence. With a deft blend of brake and accelerator inputs, he initiated a secondary restart, a feature that many Tesla owners were completely unaware of. The vehicle came to a halt, enveloped in an eerie stillness. For 3 seconds, silence reigned. Suddenly, the dashboard sprang back to life. The system restarted, operating seamlessly as though nothing had ever amiss. Nathan let out a breath. "Should be fine now." Musk leaned closer, his eyes fixed on the screen. He adjusted a few settings, then glanced over at Nathan. "That was truly remarkable." Nathan took a step back, casually wiping his hands on his jeans. "That wasn't too difficult, was it?" Musk wore a sly grin. "Perhaps it's not suited for you." He delved into his jacket, retrieving a meticulously arranged bundle of cash. "Here, for your consideration." Nathan tensed up. This was precisely the reason he had been reluctant to offer his assistance. He had no desire for charity, nor did he wish to become just another tale of a homeless man receiving a handful of sympathetic dollars from a wealthy benefactor. He gave a slight shake of his head. "I have no interest in your money." Musk appeared truly taken aback. "So what is it that you desire?" Nathan surveyed the crowd, noting the curious gazes and the hushed conversations that flitted between them. He sensed the familiar heaviness in his chest, the burden of being unnoticed, disregarded, cast aside. He gulped. Silence prevails. "I'm simply pleased to have been of assistance." Musk observed him, his face a mask of inscrutability. After a brief moment of silence, he gave a nod. Nathan pivoted, poised to vanish once more into the shadows of the night. Just as he was about to move forward, Musk's voice rang out behind him. "May I ask for your name?" Nathan paused, glancing back over his shoulder. "Nathan." Musk offered a subtle nod. "Well done, Nathan." Yet Nathan remained oblivious to the fact that this was far from the conclusion of the tale. This was merely the start. Nathan anticipated that the night would yield no results. As dawn broke, he would rise, loosen the tension in his back, and navigate the day's challenges just as he had always done. Perhaps consider locating a meal. Perhaps repair another malfunctioning item for a little extra cash. Another day fades into the tapestry of existence. However, that is not the case. He stirred awake to the murmur of voices, excessive clamor. As the early sunlight flickered in his eyes, he propped himself up and became aware of another presence nearby. A group of individuals gathered at the boundary of the parking lot, some wielding cameras while others held microphones. Media teams. Nathan felt a knot in his stomach. He wrapped the blanket tightly around his shoulders and remained motionless, praying they weren't after him. Yet there he stands. A woman in a blazer gestured, and in an instant, they were advancing toward him. Nathan, a journalist, swiftly maneuvered around a charging station. Could you share what transpired last night? What did Elon Musk share with you? Did he extend a job offer to you? The inquiries arrived rapidly. Lights, camera, action. Gaze fixed on him as if he were an intriguing spectacle or a curious performance. Nathan's heart raced. He longed to rise, step away, vanish into thin air. But where might that be? The entire scene was encircled, and the thought of fleeing only served to paint him as suspicious in the eyes of onlookers. He had not taken any action. This was not something he sought out. Amidst the clamor, a distinct voice emerged, serene yet commanding. Very well, that's sufficient. The throng shifted slightly, allowing Nathan a glimpse of him. Elon Musk, clad in dark jeans and a jacket, stands with his hands in his pockets, exuding an air of nonchalance as if this were merely another Tuesday. The lenses turned in his direction. Mr. Musk, can you confirm if Nathan is being offered a position at Tesla? Nathan's breath hitched. Excuse me, could you clarify that? Musk's eyes darted in his direction briefly before returning to the throng of reporters. Let's have that conversation in private. He then shifted his gaze to Nathan. Join me on this journey. Nathan paused, uncertainty flickering in his mind. His mind was still in the process of catching up. Yet, with the cameras capturing every moment and reporters relentlessly probing for answers, he concluded that any location was preferable to remaining on the frigid pavement, subjected to the scrutiny of the media. With no further hesitation, he rose to his feet and trailed behind Musk. As they entered the sleek black Tesla waiting at the curb, Nathan understood he was not merely departing from a throng. He was entering a realm far grander than he had ever anticipated. Nathan remained rigid in the passenger seat as the Tesla glided away from the supercharger lot. The air was infused with the scent of leather and cutting-edge innovation, a stark contrast to the gritty streets he had been navigating. Musk remained silent for a moment. He simply drove, his fingers dancing softly on the wheel. The stillness lingered, allowing Nathan an abundance of time for contemplation. At last, Musk cast a look over. So you truly had no desire for the money? Nathan let out a breath. That wasn't my intention in helping you. Musk inclined his head, as though pondering a thought. You might have seized the opportunity, left it behind, and never given that car another thought. Nathan gazed out the window. I don't repair things for a reward. I repair them because that's my craft. Musk wore a sly grin. That's quite uncommon. The Tesla smoothly navigated the highway, passing by impressive skyscrapers and extensive office complexes. Nathan ought to have inquired about their destination, yet an instinct whispered that it was of little consequence. He had already immersed himself in it now. Moments later, Musk arrived at a security gate. The sign up ahead displayed Tesla Engineering Headquarters, located in Palo Alto, California. Nathan felt a constriction in his chest. It had been years since he had stepped into a place like this. Musk displayed his badge at the entrance. The barrier dissolved, and in an instant they found themselves within, surrounded by glass, steel, and a spirit of innovation. Musk maneuvered his vehicle to a side entrance and exited with purpose. Let's go. Nathan trailed behind, his heart racing with anticipation. He sensed a disconnect. He was unshaven. He carried the scent of the street with him. His shoes were worn and tattered, with holes revealing the weary state of their journey. The security guard at the door cast a glance his way, yet remained silent as Musk stepped through the entrance. As they strolled down an elongated corridor adorned with project boards and illustrations of Tesla's future designs, a sense of anticipation filled the air. Engineers in polished company polos strolled by, a few casting inquisitive looks at Nathan. At last, Musk came to a halt in front of a lab with glass walls. A group gathered closely around a partially constructed electric motor, engaged in intense conversation. Musk swung the door wide and motioned toward the table that dominated the center of the room. Here's the situation, he stated. This motor has been a persistent challenge for my team for weeks. The diagnostics continue to falter, leaving everyone puzzled as to the underlying cause. They are on the verge of completely dismantling the existing system and beginning anew. Nathan's gaze fixed intently on the machine. At first sight, he recognized it was anything but ordinary. It was an innovative venture, a bold exploration. Musk crossed his arms. I'm eager to discover your capabilities. A hush enveloped the lab. The engineers shared looks with some clearly doubtful. Nathan sensed their skepticism. A man without a home, positioned at the heart of Tesla's research division. A striking woman clad in a black polo was the first to speak. Do you expect him to resolve what we were unable to? Musk remained unfazed. I would like to check if we missed anything. Nathan advanced, brushing aside the heaviness of their gazes. His fingers lingered above the device. He sensed the issue even before making contact. He glanced at the closest engineer. Have you all looked into the inverter software? The woman scowled. Certainly, on numerous occasions. Nathan gave a slight nod. Thus, the problem does not lie within the software. He rapped on the casing. It operates on a mechanical basis. There appears to be an obstruction in the cooling flow. Musk arched an eyebrow. Reveal it to me. Nathan seized a nearby wrench and deftly loosened several bolts, carefully peeling back the casing. Within the confines of the lab, the polished copper coils shimmered beneath the harsh glow of fluorescent lights. He traced his fingers along the edge of the coolant manifold, pausing momentarily. A tiny fragment of debris, scarcely larger than a fingernail, was lodged in one of the ports. Nathan extracted it and raised it high. This is an issue that belongs to you. All sound ceased in the room. The woman picked up the fragment, scrutinizing it closely. Her eyes grew large with surprise. It likely became detached during the assembly process. Another engineer murmured, we conducted a dozen software diagnostics and none of them would have detected that. Musk smiled broadly. Yet he did. Nathan took a step back, his hands gliding over the fabric of his jeans. As I mentioned, I repair things. Musk acknowledged with a slow nod. Absolutely, you do. However, Nathan was unprepared for the words that were about to come from Musk's lips. Nathan hardly had a moment to comprehend the events that had just unfolded when Musk directed the engineers, instructing them to provide him with a workstation. Some of them paused, yet when Musk addressed the crowd, attention was captured. The woman who had confronted Nathan earlier had a name tag that read A. Patel let out a sigh and pointed to an available station in the corner. I will arrange everything for him. Nathan trailed behind, acutely aware of the burden of their gazes. He felt out of place, not in these gleaming corridors, not amidst the sharp intellects clad in their branded Tesla polos, not with his tattered attire echoing a past he had yet to reconcile. Patel presented him with a tablet. Another engine is revving up with intensity. The sound of the cooling system is present, yet it continues to overheat after just 5 minutes. If you possess the keen insight that Musk believes you have, you'll uncover the problem. Nathan took a deep breath and pushed up his sleeves. This was the way he expressed himself. He examined the information, his mind racing into overdrive. The system logs were reliable, showing no issues with the coolant, yet the temperature continued to rise. What is the reason for this timing? He gazed at the specifications, and then a realization dawned upon him. The rate of heat dispersion was not incorrect due to a mechanical failure. Rather, it stemmed from the material's inability to manage the transfer effectively. He glanced over at Patel. What is the composition of the alloy used in the cooling plates? Her expression darkened. Typical composite mixture. Nathan gave a slight shake of his head. That seems to be an issue for you. It's not spreading quickly enough. The motor is not experiencing overheating due to a flaw. The materials are unable to handle the load, resulting in overheating. Patel's eyes grew large with surprise. Are you suggesting that it's a flaw in the design? Nathan gave a slight nod. A different heat-resistant compound is necessary, one that offers a higher thermal transfer rate. Musk, who had been observing from a distance, smiled broadly. That makes it 2 times now. The engineers nearby exchanged hushed words, some retrieving fresh schematics, while others initiated simulations inspired by Nathan's recent remarks. Patel glanced over his shoulder at him. How on earth do you know all of this about us? Nathan paused, uncertainty flickering in his mind. He preferred not to discuss the past. For the first time in ages, he found himself in the spotlight, no longer overlooked. He brushed his fingers across his face. For 15 years, I immersed myself in the world of automotive engineering, crafting drive systems and engaging with high-voltage propulsion technologies. It runs through my veins. Musk acknowledged with a nod. With a deep breath, Nathan finally mustered the courage to speak the words. And then I lost it all. Silence enveloped the lab once more. Musk observed him intently. Unfortunate circumstances or poor choices. Nathan locked eyes with him. Both options are valid. No sympathy in Musk's gaze. Only evaluation, computation. Then join my team. Nathan's eyelids fluttered momentarily. Excuse me? Musk waved his hand, indicating the surroundings. In less than an hour, you tackled 2 challenges that have left some of the brightest minds here perplexed for weeks. Nathan, this isn't where you should be. This is your place. The words struck him with the force of a freight train. He had devoted years to the notion that his worth had diminished. The world had moved on without him. Yet here he stood at the core of Tesla, demonstrating to some of the sharpest intellects in the field that he still possessed the spark. His throat constricted. I currently do not possess a resume. No address provided. Negative. Musk dismissed him with a wave. I couldn't care less about that. Your abilities are impressive. And you never give up. That's everything I require. Nathan gulped nervously. His hands trembled. Not from nerves, but from a sensation he hadn't experienced in years. Anticipation. He gave a slight nod. Very well, Musk grinned. Great, you'll begin on Monday. However, the true test lay not in securing the position. It was demonstrating that he was worthy of retaining it. Monday arrived swiftly. Nathan arrived at Tesla's headquarters clad only in the garments he wore, burdened by the heavy weight of expectation resting upon him. They bestowed upon him a badge, a designated workstation, and a brand new set of tools. After so long, he finally found a place to call his own. Purpose to rise each day. Yet the uncertainties lingered. Seated at his desk, he gazed at the polished interface of the Tesla engineering system, his fingers lingering uncertainly above the keyboard. What if he fell behind? What if the passage of time on the street had blunted his instincts? What if he didn't succeed? Then Patel placed a pile of design reports on his desk and asked, "Are you ready?" With determination, Nathan set about his tasks. The initial days felt like a struggle. He needed to demonstrate his worth not only to Musk but to the whole team as well. Side eyes darted his way, skeptical glances exchanged, and whispered conversations unfolded when they believed he was oblivious. Yet Nathan couldn't afford to waver. He executed his craft with excellence. He tackled challenges. An issue with the software in the energy recovery system. Resolved a problem with the regenerative braking algorithm. Recognized and addressed. A novel prototype battery experiencing overheating during intense conditions. Identified the issue and proposed a remedy. One by one, he garnered their admiration. By the second week, Patel had moved beyond merely assigning tasks to him. She sought his perspective. By the third, Musk took him aside and remarked, "You're among the brightest engineers I have." And by the fourth, he received his first paycheck. Nathan grasped that check in his hands for what felt like an eternity. It was never about the money. It was about the significance behind it. It signified that he had finally emerged from the shadows. It signified that he remained whole. It signified that despite having lost it all, he still possessed something valuable to offer. That evening, rather than heading back to the pavement by the supercharger station, Nathan opted to stay at a motel. He indulged in an extended shower, washing away the accumulated grime and fatigue of countless days, and gazed at his reflection in the mirror. After an extended period, he finally acknowledged the figure staring back at him. Months later, he found himself standing outside a modest apartment complex in Palo Alto. It may not have been extravagant, but it belonged to him. A space defined by its boundaries. a location where he possessed the key to the entrance. Upon entering, he reflected on the narrow margin that had kept him from disappearing entirely. It only required a single night, a pivotal choice, to rise, to voice thoughts, to embrace opportunity. And now he was thriving. He had returned. At times, life can hit you with such force that you lose sight of your true self. However, if you are prepared to battle for it, ready to seize the opportunity when it arises, you may very well reclaim everything and then some. Nathan's tale transcends mere fortune. It revolves around the strength to endure, on the importance of not allowing your situation to dictate who you are. When you find yourself at your lowest point, keep in mind that a single choice, a fleeting moment, or an unexpected opportunity has the power to transform your entire life. If you know someone who could benefit from this, pass the story along. Sometimes it only requires a single spark to bring the flame back to life.